Well, I'm back again, can't resist. A couple of weeks later, back to my favourite spot. Down here at Wormagate Church, but here's the, let me see the deer. Very quiet. Okay, so we're ready to paint. A beautiful morning again. Hello. Didn't see you there. Oh, beautiful. Yes, you are. You are beautiful. Right. We are going to paint in the churchyard again. We're going to go to a different location this time though. So, see you there. Right, here we are again, back at Wormagate, Norfolk. Beautiful location. Gone into the field next to the deer, and just going to get straight into this. Anyway, let's get straight into it. That is the sketch done. Put my pencil away. I lost it last week. Get straight into this. So I'm going in for a number 8 mop brush. So straight in with clear water. I'm going to tempt the sky first. Some beautiful sky. Quite a lot of small white clouds in there. And working itself all the way down. Going for some ultramarine at the top. Bring that in, let it do its own thing, leave it alone. Add a bit more pigment in there. As it's coming down, we've got, it's going almost cerulean, getting much lighter. Down to the horizon. And that's that. In the background, we have got some raw sienna. We'll just pop in there. It's in the distance, and we'll put some in the front here. As well, I accidentally picked up some orange there, but it doesn't matter. You just get paint in. Don't worry about that. A little bit of dry brush. The sunlight bouncing in here, beautiful sunlight in there. Soften it off slightly, get all this in. There we go. There's going to be some big shadows in here today. Popping in ultramarine, raw sienna, touch of cad. Just get this darker notes of green in here. Find a tissue. Got one in my bag somewhere. There we go. That will do. Hopefully. Handy toilet roll. Never know when you're going to need one. Grab some of that. So we want it to be going back. So I'm just going to take out some of this pigment in the distance there, just to create light. Otherwise that will come back later to haunt us. I'm going to try and retain a bit, but we also want to, I'm just going to ease this up. Take that out, that one out. It. Remembering the sky, some light. That'll do. Now we've got to wait for that to dry before we can go into the next part. Yeah, definitely got to wait for that to dry. So, into stage 2. This is almost dry. It's not quite dry. Going to take this number 12 round brush. We're just going to pop in some bluey grey mixture straight in, not messing about. I'll kind of blend and bleed down a little bit. Going in there, don't be too precise, just get it in soften it off with some clear water. So just runs down, which it will do. This tree is bothering me because it's a bit central, so I'm going to have to try and design a lot of dark in here to push the eye that way. In the hedgerow though, there is quite a lot of darks. I'm just going to pop in a few greens in here to blend and bleed. Up in this mid-distance, as that same mixture that I had in earlier, just added a little bit of Payne's grey in there, just a touch in. It's not everywhere by any means. A bit of cad yellow in, Payne's grey, cad yellow, darks in there, just to mix up a little bit. It's a very similar colour to what's on the tree, so I might just make that tree a bit bigger. Up there, let that bleed a little bit. There's quite a lot of ivy on that tree, so I'll just leave that to do its own thing. Remove that, get some clear water again, run that in off there because we don't want this to have an edge. It just doesn't look good when you've got an edge. You can see that bleeding off. I've got everything's starting to blur, which is nice. We have the difference between blurred edges and sharp edges. And that's all good. And if we need to take out some highlights, take some tissue again. I really do want to keep this the focal point here. Should just soften off some of them here. Just get some light in. There we go. It's a little bit breezy this morning, but some of these in, just my fingertips. Some little highlights coming around just to help draw the eye around to the focal point. Yeah, that will help. It's still quite wet. See that out there. Even though it's a sunny day, it's quite cold. It's about 6 degrees. Quite breezy, but which you could probably hear on the audio as it blows in on the sound there. But I could work in on this while we're waiting. I'm going with this number 2, a Skoda brush. These are very dark, so we're going to go with some burnt umber. And we'll touch in some of this ultramarine blue. Some real darks in there. We'll get dry brushing on this as well, I guess. Because the wind is going to dry the paints out in the palette quite quickly. So we might need to keep adding liquid. I'm going to pop in some of the Payne's grey as well. Yes, needs to be more liquid. More liquidy. Some of this finer twiggery further up. Especially this time of the year, it's just about coming through, but not much. foreshortening coming in here. Especially here, I need to avoid that because it's quite wet. Some very dark marks over here. So we'll get blur, which is fine. So we're going to pop over some sharper notes as well. And when I talk notes, I just mean brush strokes, right? Beautiful shadows come and play now. Glorious sunset now. It's kind of to the left, to the right rather. It's a bit central. Come right out. Hopefully my arm's not in the way to see this. Change my angle this week so you guys can see this a bit better. Mixing it up a little bit. Guiding the eye to this darkest dark. Anything else in nature that is kind of mimicking that we have to ignore. Another way design that. This is clear water, by the way. A painting, not laboriously copying nature. There's some other trees here. Mix up the same mixture that we've been using, same three colours. Payne's grey, ultramarine and the burnt umber. And we have another tree here, a much smaller one. A few in here. brush, end of the brush, tip of the brush into the handle. Try this out. That's kind of coming down here a little bit. These trees. So that's those. This is kind of dry. I'm going to put in some hopefully dry brush work in here just to indicate the tracks coming round. Don't want too much of that, but because we've already got quite a lot. We just need to warm up. Just a bit of dry brush. We've got quite a lot of blur. Dry brush, sharp edges, it's kind of that mixture. That's what we're going for. That'll do. A bit more tissue just to take out some of this. Just keep this light in here. There we go. I'm going to pop in some shadows in a second. This is not quite dry. A little bit of green foliage coming through, but not much. So I'm going to make that quite weak. And that'll do on there. That's what I mean by quite weak, very weak. The same as on here. Just on the tips. Stuff seems to be coming through a little bit this time of the year. There we go. Not too much. A little bit in here. That's better. Now up on here I've got some real dark notes that I'm going to pop in. Payne's Grey, Ultramarine. It's in here, just in the back there. There's just a little bank of trees there. I'll mix that up a little bit with some blue. More blue in. There we go, it pushes that forward a little bit. And then the shadows. And we're finally done. We're going to pop in some shadows here. The shadows are coming across the right hand side of this. Standard shadow colour, but we'll add some bits of afters in there. That means what was left in there. We're going to come in with our crimson, alizarin crimson, and our ultramarine. Mix that up. That was a little bit of an error. A bit impatient. Just going to run that off. Excuse my head. I'm just going to run that off. What I mean is just get rid of that. There's all kinds of weird things going on there in terms of mixtures, and I didn't really want that. So let's go back and do it properly. Crimson and an ultramarine. Here we go, sunlight coming in. That's perfect timing in terms of what I can see in front of me. The sun really blasted through there right at the right moment, so I can see the shadows going on. Just going to warm this one up a little bit here, make it a bit stronger. In the foreground. Here, bleed about a bit. Goes back further. same principle. Further away, cooler the colours, coming forward warmer. So I just popped in a little bit more blue there. You can see the difference in the shadow and warming this one up. There we go. Just going straight into the page. Without any mixing, straight out the palette rather, straight onto the paper. Just to keep that warmer. Blurred edges, we've got sharp edges again, keeping this nice and fresh, and there are all kinds of shadowy bits in here. Really need to be on the side of caution here. So here we are at the end. I'm going to take off the tape. Look at this. It's nice and dry. It's just a couple of little sharp notes I'm going to pop in. Not much. Find a brush if I can find it, just to finish this off. Same mixtures. Kind of trying to get the article over here. We said it wasn't quite to the left. And that's always tricky. You always need to make sure your focal point really is in the right place. Standing back, taking a look, looking at my source as well, the tree in front of me, just trying to get the feel of it all, and about there. Anyway, popping in a few drier notes. There we go. Job done. Let's get this tape off. Well, the battery on the camera keeps going. I had issues with that today. Hopefully it's still running. If not, we'll never know. There we go. Do have another piece of paper underneath for my next painting. Pop that back in my bag. Get rid of this. Across the top. Hopefully we can get this out. There we go. So yeah, that's looking pretty nice. All done. We'll come round, have a little look with the camera. Kind of zoom in some of the details, but yep, I'm pleased with that. And there's the subject, the tree over there. Missed all this other stuff out, sugar beet and whatever. Still got a nice cockerels in the background, keeping us company. Okay, take care now. Happy painting. Remember to like, to subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Whoa.